Hi, welcome to the Sacred You podcast. I'm Rachel Goodwin, and I'm a channel and healer who loves to teach and empower others. I offer a look at spirituality in fresh and new ways, and you can see more of my work at my website at rachelgoodwin.dk and the classes and sessions that I do.
Au heia valeana oe e kahaliko puhaku kui kuhia o kaunaiia a kahapu kumamoni nei Pikoi kahimanaho I kahapili koholuaia Ea ke kaula lo pihana e kohopu kapaliliai Haina mai kapuana e kahaliko puokukui.
Welcome to today's episode of Sacred You. This is me and Claire having a chat from opposite sides of the world. So if you'd like some company and want to hear us talking about all sorts of spiritual stuff, get yourself a cup of tea or coffee or whatever it is that's your thing and make yourself nice and comfy and join in with us.
So, Rachel, what I was going to ask you was, how did you end up in Denmark?
I married a Danish man.
Oh, I thought maybe you'd go over there with work. Oh,
no.
So did you meet him in the UK or did you meet him in Denmark?
Yeah, I did. Have you heard of Findhorn?
I have.
It's in Scotland. It's like an eco-spiritual community in Scotland.
Elaine Caddy.
That's it. Eileen Caddy and
that's it.
The other woman, Dorothy McLean, and their husbands. Yeah. I think I only remember the women, of course.
Yes, I've got one of her books that I bought 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I read them every now and then because they're still really good. Dorothy McLean wrote a lovely one about angels that really helped me understand like what angels are, because she sort of said, everything is a vibration of the divine and angels are the same, except for they're just like personifications of vibrations of the divine. So that's why there's an angel of peace, there's an angel, there's an angel of everything.
Oh, there is.
That's divine, and it's now I understand it, It's like...
You can call in the angels of anything, can't you? There's an angel of knitting. If I ever dropped a stitch, I'd always ask for my angels to come and pick my stitch up for me, and they do.
How did you end up in Australia, Claire?
So I've been here 33 years, 34, 1988. So I don't do maths, but I think that's about 34 years. The guy that I married, his parents lived over here.
Oh.
So it was one of those, I had a flat and my mum and dad decided that it wasn't the right thing for me. And so they intervened and I lost my flat. And this lad moved in to my flat. And I wasn't having a bar of it. I rented a flat upstairs. So I was still in the building and he was in my flat. So I just mentioned it one day. Are you liking my flat? And we got chatting and he was from Australia. He's English, from Yorkshire. But he was back over from England doing a computer course that they didn't offer in Australia. They didn't even have anything like that available. So he came back to do the course and then, of course, met me and we went back together.
Wow. That was a long way to go for a computer course, wasn't it? But
it was really.
1988. I can understand that. Because I left school, I don't know, 1986, I think. And I took computer O level And it was a really new O level. I was at a girls' grammar school, and it was like, and the teacher didn't really know what he was teaching. I can remember trying to write code and little programs and stuff like that, and I quite enjoyed it, but I never really learned the theory. So I never. And then I joined a bank. Because I joined the sixth form, and then I hated it, and I was like, oh, I'm fed up with stupid adults telling me what to do. And I left school and I went and worked for Lloyd's Bank because I didn't know what else to do. And a couple of my friends were working for banks. And then while I was there, and the 3 years I was there, we got all these computer processors, these huge like things in the branch. And we had to go over from paper to computer records, and I would spend a lot of time like tapping in people's records. Credit scoring came in. I used to sit and credit score loans, and it was all like brand new. It was all like really exciting, and I really enjoyed all that, actually. So I could understand that, you know, they did.
Yeah.
It's just you know, like compared to now, you can really feel we're getting older, can't you?
Well, my husband went on to set up his own business. And of course, you know how it happens where he devotes all his time to the business. And we'd only freshly moved out, and we were living in the middle of nowhere, and there was no freeway or motorway or anything. We were very isolated, and I was very lonely. And he was. So in the end, we split up. But he went on to become a millionaire.
Oh my God! Not in computers, or in computers.
Well, he has to do something with computers. Yeah, his business. Yeah.
God Almighty! But you're a Yorkshire lass, then, you?
So no, I'm from Cheshire. He was from Yorkshire, but that's why I've got a funny accent because I've picked up everybody's.
I was going to say you've lost a bit of your Yorkshire accent.
So that's his. They've got Yorkshire in there, it's him. But I'm from Cheshire.
Oh right, okay. That's the Midlands, isn't it? Is it
below Manchester?
Oh,
no,
right,
it's over that way.
Oh,
it's towards like Cheshire. It links up with Wales and Manchester.
Right. Yeah, I'm not because I'm from Kent, and we're just sort of down in the corner. Like I could see France from where I grew up, like. On the beach at Deal, you'd stand there and you could see Calais and everything. So it's like,
really?
Yeah. But my geography's never been great because I learn things and I forget them, I'm afraid. So like, yeah. My current husband, he's from he's Sunderland, but he emigrated to Essex when he was 15. So he's he was in Essex for 25 years before he emigrated to Australia. So I've been to Essex, which is near Kent, because I remember going to Kent. I can remember going on a day out. Essex is a bit flatter, though, and a bit, I don't know, the bits I've been to Essex, it seemed it was a bit flat and boring looking.
Yeah. I only spent about I did spend a fair bit there, but I know what you mean. I didn't really get to know the place, but I didn't have a car and I didn't really get out much, so I didn't really know it. But he lived in Penny Lane in Essex.
Oh, okay.
Yes, nice name, isn't it? Penny Lane. You know, the song, the Beatles.
It is. Is that where they were singing about? I don't know.
Well, no. It was Penny Lane is a lane in Liverpool because originally my family are from Liverpool.
Oh right.
Yeah, there's a Penny Lane, but I don't think they've got the sign up anymore because everybody kept nicking the Penny Lane sign. Yeah.
Do you know much about your family history? I've been sort of looking into mine, sort of through the ancestry thing recently.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
No, we're Irish.
I was going to say, are you Irish? If you're from Liverpool,
yeah,
that's what made me
from
think
Liverpool.
Of it.
Yeah,
I'm 35. I'm 35% Irish.
You just missed a beat there. What are you?
I'm 35% Irish.
Oh, 35%.
Yeah. My mum's on my mum's side. They came over. Well, I think. Well, yes, I did this ancestry thing. And it was even able to sort of pinpoint like what part of Ireland it was, and it was sort of, oh God, of course I've forgotten, but sort of Galway over to the left side, but it was sort of all the areas where the famines were really bad, you know.
Oh, yes.
And people left. And so I have a lot of relatives in America and Canada and places like that through that Irish sort of, because, so many people had to leave because it was either that or stay there and die, wasn't it, of starvation?
That's right.
Because it was so bad.
We have a lot of relations in America and in Canada.
We could be related, Claire.
We just don't know. I'm sure we are. Shall I tell you how I came across you?
Go on.
So I'm sitting, I'm not sitting, I'm asleep. It was about 2:00 in the morning on Holy Thursday, which is the day before Good Friday. And it was about 2:00 in the morning. And I woke up, I don't know, I just woke up. And Mary Magdalene said to me, I want you to look up Sarah. And I said, right, like now? Why not? Hey, it's a Holy Thursday, so Friday was Good Friday. So I just started, got my computer, my iPad, and started Googling Sarah, and your name came up down there somewhere. I went, oh. So I clicked and I sort of started having a read, and that's how I found you. And then I went on to, I don't know how this happened, but I went on to Spotify, and I found you on there doing the podcast. So I listened to quite a few of your podcasts.
Yeah.
Was it one of them? Well, there's a few. That lady in Scotland, a name begins with an A.
Yeah.
I can say it. I keep wanting to call her Fiona.
Yeah.
That's her. That was very interesting. And then there was one, Lee Chaplin.
Yeah, Lee Chapin. Yeah.
Chapin, that's it.
Yeah.
And funny that was because when I was in Bali last February of 2020, I started seeing the number 47 on my watch all the time. So it'd be like 11:47 or 7, anything. And it was like doing a heads in, like all the time. So I started looking into the 7s, and I found out that it was Saint Germain. Well, for me, it was Saint Germain.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know how this happened, but I started looking at the I am decrees. And I got told by Saint Germain that he wanted me to start looking at the I am decrees. So that's what I started doing. And another thing, I get to channeling in the middle of the night. Why do I get them in the middle of the night? So I get to channeling in the middle of the night, and I get told, I goes, oh, I'll remember that. And they went, no, you're getting up. So I get up, and I remember sitting this used to be my healing room. I'm sitting in here, and I've got a picture of the 2 cats because they both decided to come and join me on my healing table. And I'm trying to write this channeling. And then I wrote, and then I looked at my watch, and it was, oh, look, it's 3:17. 3:17. I looked at my watch, and it was 2:17 in the morning. And I got then told, send it to your sister. Okay. So I sent it to my sister in the UK, and she immediately responded saying, the I am decrees. I'm doing the I am decrees. Now, she's corporate, very different. You're doing the I am decrees? She goes, yes. I goes, that's strange. Anyway, so she said, have you heard of Peter Mac Shasta, Guy Ballard? No. And she said, have a look. So anyway, so I've been on this dot-to-dot journey with Saint Germain all around the I am decrees and the violet flame and everything like that. And one day I'm just blown away with everything that I'm doing. I'm just going to go back to who's that Rachel Goodwin girl? Let's go back to her. And I put you on, and it's Lee. It was talking to Lee, and I'm like, okay, this is something away from Mount Shasta. This is something away from the I am decrees. I'm listening. I'm in there. And she goes, and I read the 7 Sacred Flames book every day. And I'm paused. What's the 7 Sacred Flames? So I'm off on another Google search, and I find the 7 Sacred Flames. You'll know the story, printed by Mount Shasta Publishing. And that led me on a completely different path. And that's where I found them on YouTube and the Lemurian Connection. And of course, Telos America, Telos Worldwide, Telos Australia. Yeah. And just happened to have my 7 Sacred Flames book there. And of course, behind me, guess what that is? That's Mount Shasta.
Oh, wow.
It's 3.5 by 2.5. I just had it put on my wall when I decided that the room was too small for me. And my husband said, go into the master bedroom next door. You can have that room and we'll go down Jack's old room. So I get in there and I go, what am I going to have on the wall? And I thought about Uluru. And then I thought, no, I think I need to go back to Mount Shasta. So I got Mount Shasta put on the wall, but I got the guy to flip it. So now I have one massive mountain in my house. I have it in here on this wall, and I have it on there on that wall. Now, I don't think I would have found all of these 7 sacred flames if I hadn't listened to your thing about Rachel Goodwin. So although it started with Sarah, it's taken on me this really massive, massive journey.
That's so funny.
Tell us.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, have you heard of Lars Mules? He's Danish, Lars.
No,
you know
Lars
him?
Muhl. Lars Muhl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know him, of him?
Yeah.
He's done some lovely things with Mary Magdalene on YouTube.
Yeah.
Have you heard his song?
I haven't heard his song, no. I haven't. No, because he was originally a rock musician.
Yeah, no, he did a beautiful. He actually went to. Well, I'll send it you. He did this beautiful journey about Mary Magdalene. He's written quite a few books about her as well.
Yeah.
In fact, in one of his recent books that I read, have you seen this picture?
Yeah.
This is, that one with the 3 monks.
Yeah.
So, because I work a lot with Mary Magdalene. In fact, I did a swap with a girl yesterday who I see every 6 weeks. We do swaps, and when she was in my room, she said, "Oh, Mary Magdalene's here, and Master Jesus is standing behind me." But they spent a lot of time in my healing room, but I haven't come across Sarah as much. I mean, I know about her and everything.
Yeah.
But you channel Sarah, don't you? And is that since you went on a course in Hawaii? You went to Hawaii, didn't you? I
went to Hawaii in 2005. I went on a retreat. It was a women's retreat, and I had already sort of. Let me think. How old is Josh now? So I had sort of started on my spiritual journey. I'd done a couple of years training as a priestess of the goddess, and this retreat, it was a retreat for women. Sort of connecting with Pele and all those spiritual energies on Hawaii and swimming with dolphins and and Josh, my eldest, he was 2, I think then, or 3, and his dad, said to me it was all right for me to go, because I was like, I think he suggested it. He said, why don't you go? Because it was like a lifetime dream of mine to swim with dolphins, and I'd never had a call to go to Hawaii particularly. I'd never thought that looks fantastic or anything. I mean, I thought it looked nice, but I liked everywhere, really. Actually, I really wanted to go to Australia when I was 18. You were saying that was 1988. Oh, God, I nearly went. And I nearly went several times because I trained as a psychiatric nurse. And Australia and New Zealand is one of the few countries in the world that accept my qualification, because they also have psychiatric nurses. The rest of the world don't have psychiatric nurses. They have nurses that they train, all the same. And then some of them go to be psychiatric nurses. Whereas in the UK, New Zealand, and Australia, we don't take the same training, and we do a lot of extra training just in psychiatry and mental health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you nearly came to Australia.
I've always, and I still haven't lived out that dream, Claire. So I'll have to come and see you one day.
We're 300 meters from the ocean, just there.
Yeah, because I love the whole vibe of Australia and New Zealand. I've always really, really, really wanted to come, and I really like Australians and New Zealanders as well, because and I worked with quite a lot of them. I was a nurse in London, and you get loads of Kiwi nurses doing agency because they're traveling and they base themselves there, because then they travel all around Europe and earn their money in the London hospitals, which never have enough staff because it's too expensive for anyone there to live. So it's like, you know.
Wow.
But anyway, going back to Hawaii, so there I was, you know, me and Josh's dad, you know, Josh was only just a little kid, and he said, why don't you go? And I'm like, I can't go. What about Josh? And how you manage? And he was like, oh, we'll be all right. And I was like, God, really? and so I went. I booked myself tickets, and off I went. And God, it was phenomenal. I mean, as soon as I landed in Hawaii, and it was in the middle of the night, just the energy, I just felt happy. I just went to some other happy place that I'd never been to on the earth. Just I just was in a complete state of grace for the I don't know how long I was there, 2.5 weeks, I think.
Wow.
And the retreat was fabulous. And we stayed in we stayed in a couple of places. One of the places we stayed, I can't remember, it was Kealakekua Bay on the Big Island. And the guy, Michael something, he actually makes music. He makes music. He's an American, been doing it for years, and it was his house. And it's sort of really beautiful new age music. I've got such a bad memory. I can't remember his surname, but yeah. And then we did all this stuff to Pele, and it was just I'd come home. I mean, that's it. And it was just so bizarre how I'd never had even an inkling, but I'd come home, and I have sort of remembered past lives there.
So as a Lemurian or as a Hawaiian?
No, as a Hawaiian. But I mean, I think I did actually have a past life memory there as a Lemurian as well.
Because actually divine connection to the divine feminine, isn't it? Lemuria is the divine feminine.
Yeah, and that's it. I've always been a real sort of like Lemuria energy person. That's what I really get excited about. Even though strangely, a lot of the way that I teach, it's very esoteric, and I know it's very Atlantean in origin, and that just seems to be the way that I teach in this lifetime. But there you go. But
But you could have I was going to say you could have had lifetimes in both Lemuria.
Oh, I know I have. Yeah, I know I have. I know.
So do you get the feel of the vibe of the Lemurian, and then get the vibe of the masculine being Atlantis?
Yeah, I suppose when it comes to like teaching things, which is very on the mental plane, the Atlantean energy is really suited to that rather than the Lemurian. It's not really a Lemurian way of working. But so when I came back from because I did go again to some other islands in Hawaii a few years later, but when I came back from the Big Island, Pele came with me. I wasn't expecting her to be there, but no, she sort of made several appearances, and then because it had just been such, I'd connected to all these different places and the energies and the goddesses, and so I ran like I can't remember, maybe it was called the Power of Pele or something. I ran a 6-week course. And it was just in the evening. We just met in the evening for 6 weeks. And then on the last one, Sarah turns up.
Wow.
Which I wasn't expecting. And I didn't particularly believe in her or anything. I mean, or know anything about her, because, I mean, who did? I had heard her mentioned because Edwin Courtney had mentioned her in a channeling. And Edwin Courtney was someone whose workshops that I was going to, and him and Diana Summer were the people that sort of set me on the path of channeling and Ascended Masters and all the rest of it, from the things I learned from them and the classes that they did. And they were fantastic. I've always been really lucky to have wonderful spiritual teachers who were just exactly what I needed at the right time. I might have felt a bit impatient in between, but they've always turned up at the right moment. But so then there was Sarah, and then because I'd worked with Mary Magdalene, Lady Nada, and I'd met Yeshua, and I sort of recognised that Sarah was, and I knew their energies, and I recognised that Sarah was both of them. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on?
Oh, yes,
You know?
I see. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I
it was,
see.
yeah,
Yes.
it was very strange. It was very, very strange. And then, yeah, it's just sort of gone on. It's just gone on and 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 on. But I've always wanted to talk to you, Claire. I knew we'd have a good cackle together, I think.
Yes. Yes, well, like me too. And well, years ago, over 20 years ago, I had a past life regression, and I was standing outside of Master Jesus' tomb. And so I can see it now. Anyway, I said to the lady, I was outside the tomb. Oh, don't tell me you're Jesus. I goes, no, I wouldn't say that. No. And I said, no, don't be Jesus. Thanks very much. That's a burden. She goes, Mary Magdalene. I goes, I'm not Mary Magdalene either. So I decided that I wouldn't tell anybody that story because she came very much from ego. And so for a long while, I didn't tell anybody. And then about 5 years ago, or maybe 6 years ago, I decided to have a look back at that past life. And, I thought to myself, I couldn't be the only one stood outside the tomb. Anyway, I looked into it. Mary Magdalene was with 5 other women. Okay. So my sort of little bit of a journey is to find out which of the 5 I was. And I'd sort of worked it out. And then but last year, my friend Helen came up and she said, we'll do a swap. What would you like to do? And I goes, I don't know. What about past life? Let's do back in the K-Sheet records. And we had a look at the records and she said, this is how she started. She goes, I'm not very big on Jesus. She said, I know who he is, but I'm not very big on Jesus. I'm always saying that. So, because I was a devout Catholic. I was Roman Catholic and I was going to be a nun. So, my devotion to Jesus and Mary Magdalene goes back a long, long way. So to be very, very Catholic and very like that, and then to switch to spirituality has been a bit of a shift. And, I've had to, been rough a little bit with my dad and everything because anyway, so she just started and she went, I can see you standing outside of the tomb. And I goes, yeah, keep going. So she said, you're only young. She said, and then she said, your name's Martha, which is what young. So I think there was another Martha because Elizabeth Clare Prophet, who I'm also very close to, if you know her, she's passed now. Yeah. But I know everything she says. Yes, well, everything she says, I could call her a Clare Prophet. I've always called her Clare Prophet. I keep saying, it's Elizabeth. Sorry, Elizabeth Clare Prophet. But I call her Claire, and I don't know if you know, but since she's passed over, she did a channeling through a Russian lassie, and she's gone back to her name of Lady Clare. She was apparently Saint Clare, to do with Saint Francis of Assisi. Okay, all right. Yes, but she also says she's a Martha. So I go, hang on. I thought I had something to do with I was very close to Saint Clare as well. So I know Clare Prophet. Yeah. So, and then I goes, right, so I must have been young Martha. But hey ho, there was 4 Marys stood at that tomb. So why wasn't there 2 Marthas? So my name's Martha, and I travelled on the boat with them to France. Wow. I was in the boat. Wow. So this is what all came out from the Akashic records through Helen last year. Well, that was funny though when she started. I don't know much about Jesus, but hey ho. And I was like, right then. But that was my unfolding of this, that's something I saw nearly 30 years ago in a past life, standing in front of the tomb. I can still see it as clear as day now. So I've been really close to Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Yeah. So the Catholic thing, that's from the Irish, is it? Yes, Roman Catholic. My father was training to be a priest. His 2 brothers were passed now, but were priests. And my dad's father died, so he came out of the ceremony, and he then obviously wasn't going to become a priest, and he got married, and then of course but he was devout very to the very end. I mean, he played altar boy every single day of his life.
Wow. So because I, if you've listened to the some of the podcasts that I do, we do end up talking about religion quite a lot, and it's which is a bit funny to me because I don't talk about religion at any other time, to be honest. And so my mum was a lapsed Catholic, so she was a Catholic from the Irish, heritage, and her first husband, I can't remember his name. Oh, poor Rachel brain. He died. He was Welsh. So where we lived in Kent, there was a mine close to us called Betsanger Pit, and a lot of people came there for work, so Irish, Welsh, they came there for work. So his family had come from Wales to work in the pit, but he went and trained as a steel worker, and they were building a new power station along the coast called Dungeness, and he was very far up building this, working on this power station, and he fell and he died. Yeah. And she had she was pregnant with my sister, and she had 2 boys, my eldest brothers. And she'd had a really, really hard life. I mean, my mum had such a hard life. It is just sort of a string of tragedy. And after that, she'd had enough. And she just threw God out. She said, I've had enough of God. He's not done much for me. So God was out. And my dad was Church of England, but like a lot of people in the Church of England, which meant he was an atheist, basically. So I was brought up without any religion at all. But I was christened Church of England. But my brothers and sisters had been baptized Catholic. But yeah, so I grew up without any but there was a church. The church quite close to us was called St Leonard's, and I lived in St Leonard's Road. And I can remember looking up St Leonard's, and I felt no connection to him at all. And I've been back to the church that I was christened in, and it's quite old and it's quite nice looking. I can't find a spiritual vibe in there.
Can't you?
No. Yeah. And I did go to Sunday school for a while. So my mum made an effort to sort of educate me. But I mean, Christ and all that stuff, it was just part of everyday school. And in those days it was. I don't think it is now. And I never got that much. I never got that much from it. I think I've often had the thought, if I'd have been raised Catholic in a proper Catholic church, I might never have left it, because I might have been happy enough with all of that and all the Our Mother, Marta Maria stuff. I might have just stayed there, because it would have been, I can see I would have found enough spirituality, so I'm kind of glad I wasn't raised Catholic, because then absolutely. I might not have gone on the path that I have. So I was raised cynical. I was raised cynical. My dad used to say religion just existed, for, I don't know. He used to say all sorts of, that's it. He used to say all sorts of things. But one of them was, all war was caused by religion, because if people didn't believe in the afterlife, they wouldn't all be killing each other. They'd been appreciating the life they had more right now. And, he would say that my dad I think he was originally an idealist, but then he became very cynical, because that's what happens, isn't it? Idealistic people become cynical when life is just too traumatic for them. But it's so weird, because I love going to churches and places like that have got special energies, but the one I was christened in, nothing, not a shred. Absolutely.
I don't think mine did too either. My parish church did either. But look, I spent the next 30 years trying to indoctrinate what I was brainwashed with. So, it was the Dan Brown book, the Da Vinci Code. when I started reading that, and I started looking at it all a little bit differently, and then I started reading other books, and it expanded my mind. And I don't know if you've read any of Margaret Starbird's books.
Yes,
I love her books.
Yeah.
Love her books.
And
there was I don't know, it's on the cover of her book, it was something about her. She wasn't even wanting to go down the route she went, because she was a devout Catholic.
That's right.
Then she read a book, was it Holy Blood, Holy Grail, I think it was. And I just finished that. I'd literally just finished. It was when I was in the UK for a year in Essex. I'd actually been in I had a backpack, because I walked everywhere. I had a backpack full of food, and I picked up this really heavy book, and I went, do the Holy Blood, Holy Grail. Do I really want to read this? Yes, I do. And my sister rang me out of the blue, because we don't speak often, but this night she rang me and she said, we're talking, and she goes, you should read that book, Holy Blood, Holy Grail. I went, that's what I've just hiked it back from the light. I've literally just got it. And then, of course, it's on the back of Margaret Starbird's book.
Yeah.
It's always like a dot to dot for me. There'll be something linking me up to something else, to something else, to something else.
Yeah. Well, that was the first book I ever read. But when I did read it, I wasn't. So when I was my mum, I said we lived right on the coast, where we could see France. And my dad was a marine engineer. He worked for Sea Link, and he used to sail, with the boats from Folkestone to Boulogne. And we would go on holiday to France every year. And, because both my parents had gone to evening classes and learnt French. And they were very disappointed in me because I wouldn't. But I was always very, very self-conscious about speaking languages. And I'm still the same now. It's just, it's really difficult for me to make myself. I only talk Danish if I really, really have to. And I've studied it so much. That's one of the reasons I can't remember things, because my head's so full of Danish words now. A lot of English ones have there's not enough room for them. They just sort of fall out. But so we would go on holiday to France every year. And then my dad, who was an atheist, and he only really read, I don't remember him reading fiction novels. He would read a lot of stuff about World War II and tanks and, I don't know, history and things like that. He'd read, this is 1985 now, he'd read the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail. And he'd got really fascinated by that church.
Yes.
At Rennes-le-Château. Yes. So we went to the Pyrenees. I remember it well because my dad used to drive too fast. He had several car accidents from driving too fast, and the roads going up to Rennes-le-Château, and a lot of our French holidays were like this. It was like this road that was literally, you looked off the side of it, and it was just a drop down the side of the mountain. No guards or rails and really narrow roads. And my mum would be there. My dad would drive too fast, and my mum would be going, Ken, stop it, Ken. So anyway, but we went to Rennes-le-Château, and
wow,
he was fascinated by why was this font there that looked like a demon, and why did it say, what's the thing over the church? Oh, I don't know. It says something about people being damned or something. I've forgotten now. And then there's Mary Magdalene in there with the skulls. My God, but I loved it. I loved that. I loved that place. And I was 15 when we went to, I think it was Montsegur. I had a spontaneous past life memory when I was there. And I was completely skeptical. Although I had it, I didn't believe it. But I actually felt myself get taller, and my back was straighter, and I just felt like a different person. And then I went over and stood at what would have been a window, but it was sort of in a ruin. And I started crying and just sobbed my heart out. Really? And I was like, oh, here I am going mad again.
So you had a past life memory as being a Kappa?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I've been a Kappa.
Yeah, I had to work with that, Many years later, I went back there with we were a group of Sophia priestesses, and then I had to do some serious past life trauma work.
Yes, because it was a lot of trauma. I mean, I actually escaped. In fact, I went...
Okay. I didn't.
I went for a reading. This is back in the 80s. I went for a reading, and this lady said to me, she was English, she was on visiting for the UK. She said, you were a Cathar, and she said you escaped with the Holy Grail. But see, that didn't mean anything to me at the time. But it was funny because I was telling my sister, or my art, see, we don't talk very often, but, I've mentioned her 3 times. But she always is pivotal when it comes to anything like this. And I goes to her, I've just had a reading, and this lady said, I've been a Cathar. I've never heard of Cathars. I don't know the word cathartic that week, but I didn't know about Cathars. And my sister goes, I was a Cathar. And I said, well, apparently I escaped with the Holy Grail. And she said, we both said it at the same time. We both went, she said, you left me behind. And I said, I left you behind. So I left her behind. Oh, we both said it at the same time. So I don't like heights. I think it comes from them, because that was a hell of a drop.
Yeah. What
a hell of a drop.
Yeah, isn't that funny? So funny how these things run in families, because like I said, my dad, complete atheist, but he was there taking us to Render Chateau. He couldn't help it.
Amazing,
he couldn't help it.
Yeah.
He just had some soul urge, and there we were. But he did have a lot of like old books. So we had like a bookcase upstairs, and I was an avid reader. I mean, I read Gone with the Wind when I was 7. Because I'd gone through all of Enid Blyton and I've read all of it. I used to live down in Deal Library, and he had all these old science fiction books and Isaac Asimov, and I used to read them. And he also had it was a past life book, and there was a story in there about Cathars. And I when I read it, I was really shocked, and I thought. And I just knew it was all true. It was like, it wasn't a question of believing it. I knew it, like it was a fact. It was like, well, of course we come here. And, this isn't the first time. And it just explained to me how different people were, and how some people just sort of knew a lot of stuff and were really good at things. And do you know what I mean? Had that, you could just tell they built it up in like past lives. And it was like that for me when I learned channeling. I went and sat in like a circle that Diana Summer was running, and I could just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I just went from not being able to do it, not having any idea how to do it, to I could just do it. And people would say to me, because I'd been getting messages to learn to channel for a couple of years, and then, which I took no notice of, because I thought, don't be ridiculous. I can't do that. Wasn't how I saw myself at all. And then it took me a long time. So maybe it was 3 or 4 years after I was getting the messages, because no one was teaching a circle that I could sit in. I tried like mediumship circles, and I found it really unpleasant, because I just sit, when I open up to spirit, I'm very open, which means that if it's dead people coming in, they're just like us, aren't they? They've got all their issues and everything.
Yes.
Whereas angels and ascended masters have a beautiful energy.
Yes.
When I open up to spirit, I don't seem to have the boundaries of like being able to talk to them as if they're sitting next to me. They actually sort of come into me, and I can't cope with that. It's all right, ascended masters, but normal people, no, it's like, no, I can't do it. So I couldn't.
Well, do you find people who are mediums, and I say this with greatest respect, people who are mediums don't have to be in any way, shape or form spiritual? They don't.
It's to a certain extent, it's the same with any talent, isn't it? Just because you're talented at anything doesn't mean that anything else comes with that talent. Yeah. It just means
I know a lot of mediums who are not spiritual.
Yeah.
But when I in 2005, yes, when I was visited by Archangel Gabriel. So I'm just sitting on my bed doing a lot. So I've been doing a lot of work. I did my Orasoma course. I've done Reiki course. I've done a few things. I didn't really know what I was going to be doing next. But I remember clearly sitting on my bed one night, and I had a statue of on my chest of drawers, I had a statue of Mother Mary and a candle lit like I always did. And then all of a sudden, there's this on the door, which was my bathroom door, was well, you could trace it. It was so clear. I mean, you could even get this part of the lip, you know. You could have just gone with it. If it'd been not a rental and it'd been my house, I would have got a texter out, I can assure you. I could have traced around that angel. So the angel was there for ages. And I got a little bit frightened, I have to say. So I put my sheet over my head. And my 5-year-old came in and he goes, Mummy, why have you got an angel on your wall? And why are you under the sheet? I goes, oh God, is it still there? Okay, all right. So then I had to say, okay, who are you? And it was Archangel Gabriel. But when a few days later, Archangel Gabriel said to me that I would be doing this sort of work, that I would be doing spiritual work, and I'm going, you've got the wrong person. Yeah, what do you say to people? But I said, look, you've got the wrong person. It's not me. And they go, no. And it's like they give me my instructions from God, and I'm going, you've got the wrong person. But I had this terrible headache, and in the end, I went, look, if you think it's me, I'll do it, but it's not. But I'll do it. Anyway, the headache went, and I was told quite a few things, you know, go and get flyers made, do this. I don't know, I had the flyers made. They'd never give them out, but I got them made. You know, I was just making that leap of faith. I definitely thought they had the wrong person.
Yeah. It's good we listen to spirit, isn't it? Because that's it. You know, I have actually, even though I might just think it's all rubbish, I have actually listened over the years. And yes. I just get proved wrong over and over again, because it's like, I'm not that sort of person. Oh, actually I am. And I think it's like, I was just thinking about it as you were talking, it's like I've had a hard casing, and I guess it's the same for a lot of people. I had a hard casing all over myself from, you know, a lot of really difficult past lives where all this stuff just like, it was too traumatic, exiled, ridiculed, you know, and in the end your soul
burned at the stake,
you'll just goes, you know, or whatever it, you know, way you want to describe it, it's just you've had enough, and so you become something else, you know.
Absolutely, you do. Well, I was just like adamant they got the wrong person. It's a bit strange, isn't it, when you say that to God? But anyway, I couldn't, you know, when they definitely got the wrong person. It's like when I've had Jesus in my healing room quite a few times, and I saw Jesus very, very. It was in here actually. So I'm standing, so my healing table would be like here now, and I remember this time. So I stand at the bottom of the bed when I finish with my clients. That's how I finish. I do a bit of healing at the end, and I do some Reiki symbols, and I finish around the person. And anyway, you know when somebody's standing next to you. So I open my eyes and I look, and Jesus was standing there, and he had a full white tunic on with like a Hessian type cover, like overcoat thingy. And I looked at him, and do you know what? I don't know what you say to Jesus, but I said, what are you doing in my healing room? And he said, I'm a healer just like you. And I went, righto. And I went back to what I was like, what am I saying? Anyway, put my hands back on it, finished it. Anyway, I goes round to the client and I goes, Nicola, I've finished. And she's Welsh, and she goes, oh, Claire, she said, that was beautiful. She said, Jesus held my hand, stood right by me all the way through. And then he went and stood at the end of the table when I went, oh, God, I did see him. It was him. That was great. That was my confirmation, because I would have just written that off as me seeing somebody in my healing room. Yeah. But he's in my healing room a lot. And that's the same with Mary Magdalene. Because I only found out last year, and I've done Aura Soma since 2004. I only found out last year that Lady Nada and Mary Magdalene were the same people.
Well, I mean, people have different opinions about it. You know, as with all things and archangels, you know, you can read 5 different books and get 5 different answers. But I mean, that's it. Sort of Edwin Courtney worked a lot with Aura Soma, and so we all worked with it a lot. And I always understood Mary Magdalene to be an aspect of Lady Nada, and that's how I've worked with it. And she, because so the first Ascended Master workshop I did, and Edwin was running it, and he's like, right, open up, to an Ascended Master, and there was Jesus. And I was like, oh. I used to have a real thing about men. I have to say, I think I've pretty much got over it now. But again, that was a lot of past life stuff. And the first sort of spiritual being that ever turned up for me, that like in a very conscious way, was Archangel Michael. And I did the same with him. I went, ugh. Even though archangels are, genderless, he was very much in his male aspect, and he was not impressed with me. And I had to sort of go, all right, yeah, I need to get over this. But anyway, so Jesus turned up, and I was like, because I wanted Kuan Yin,
Yes.
I had a really strong, because I do have a really strong connection to Kuan Yin. I'd really been hoping for Kuan Yin, and there was Jesus. And he just said to me, I'm not who you've been told I am, basically. And I love his energy. But it was Lady Nada that really came through to work with me on that. And I know something interesting that I don't know if you've heard me say this before, I found out over the years, is like a lot of the Ascended Masters that I worked with, I found that if I was not in a good place, I couldn't really connect to their energy. I had to sort of be able to reach my consciousness up to a high enough vibration where we could meet each other. Sarah's not like that. She's in all of the dimensions. So it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, this is just my experience.
Yeah,
saying,
3, 4, 5, whatever.
It's got to be the same 49. For everybody. But I mean, doesn't matter what kind of funk I'm in, how depressed I am, or terrible mood. I can always connect with her energetically, and channel her or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I've loved working with her. I would never describe myself as a Christian, just because for me there's a lot of baggage that comes with it. And also, I was not really raised as a Christian, so I don't have that sort of in my childhood as such. But there's so many different spiritualities that I connect to as well. I also can't limit myself, because for years I thought, because I separated from Josh's dad when Josh was 7, and I was seriously thinking, because I used to go to, in Reigate where I used to live, the Buddhist monks or nuns would come up from Brighton and do they teach and then you meditate. I loved it. I just loved it. And I was seriously thinking, like, I really wanted to go and be a nun. But you had to sort of denounce all your other spiritualities and stuff. And I thought, in all conscience, I can't do that because they're real to me. So how can I denounce? It's like denouncing the sun or the moon or the sky or something. And anyway, the divine wanted me out in the world, living messy life. So I had to just get on with it. So yeah.
When I was 15 and I was going to be a nun, I was going to join the Poor Clares in London, but it's a silent order. And I just didn't think, I was only 15. I thought, your whole life not speaking.
Oh, yeah. But see, that's the thing. Yeah, I've been a nun and a monk and a priestess in nearly all of my lives. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, and I love that. I mean, because I do love to have a chat, but I actually love being in silence. And I do find family life quite difficult because people keep talking to me.
Yes, no, I have a lot of quiet time. I have to say, I withdraw. I have to. Yeah. And I have the front room and I just keep it dark. And I love being in that little cell.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I just like it.
Yeah.
And I'm used to it.
I'm sure a lot of people, you know, if they're listening to this, they'll be going, oh yeah. But I mean, because I've got so Benji, he's my son with my Danish husband. He's going to be 9 on the 1st of December. He has autism and ADHD. So he's not a silent autist. No. That boy talks. And if he's not talking, he really loves cows and he makes moo sounds like constantly.
Oh,
so he's just like, you know, when Benji's awake, because you can hear him. I mean, he even sings himself to sleep. And Thomas really, he just really likes to talk. Thomas likes to talk. I mean, they are conversationalists. And my husband, Thomas, he's a university researcher. And he's also trained as like a Jungian psychoanalyst. And he operates a lot on the mental level. He's very restless on the mental level. It's very hard for him to keep quiet, I think. You know, and sometimes I just say, oh, please just stop talking. Please just stop.
Yes.
You just stop. All of you just stop talking to me. You know, it's like I would love to have a sign that just said, in silence.
Yes.
I'm in silence.
Yes,
so that no one
that's
would
your nod in the end, because there was many times people did have signs, especially if they were, you know, they did have signs on them. I know that they used to wear signs. Oh, I've got something to share with you.
Oh, God.
This is a channeling. Oh, so my very first channeling was actually Kuan Yin.
Oh,
it's not in this room; it's in the other room. But she channeled through me, and I woke up and there's this voice coming through with a Chinese accent, I'll just add. And I'm like, what the, you know? So, and when I looked, it was the 14th of the 5th, 2005. So let's go 14, 5, and it was 5:55 a.m. Anyway, it's all from Kuan Yin, and I've been channeling Kuan Yin since then. But I waited for 3 confirmations it was her before I actually spoke to the world and said, I channel Kuan Yin. But it took till 2017 to get my 3rd confirmation, although I knew I just wanted the confirmation. And it happened to see there's another 7. So there's a lot of 7s going on with me. Anyway, so and how it happened, the 3rd one was I used to run the Mind, Body and Spirit Wellness Festival here in Yanchep. And one of my readers, I was just talking to them, and then I was ready to walk away, and she said, oh, I've got something to tell you. She said, I don't usually pass on my messages. She said, but I've been told to tell you Kuan Yin's with you. As simple as that.
Oh,
simple as that. But it took from 2005 to 2017. But I was walking in the office last year, 18th of April 2020. Oh, look, it's channel at 9:47 a.m. See, there's 7s that get everywhere. And I got this, and I was halfway through. It came in two-part transmission. So the first half, and then I'm thinking to myself, is that Lady Nada? That's what I'm thinking. And it's called I Am. I am the God, Goddess of love. I am dual in all aspects. I am the vibration of Mother Earth. I am the breeze that brushes your hair. I am the light at the end of your tunnel. I am within you. I am the God, Goddess energy of love. I am the woman with the alabaster jar. I am the woman with the long flowing hair. I am the love of Jesus Christ. I am Mary Magdalene.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's lovely. Love the energy. I love the energy that comes.
And when I got to the I am the woman with the alabaster jar, of course, Margaret Seabird's book, The Woman with the Alabaster Jar, just knew what was coming next. She's going to be Mary Magdalene. But I mean, I felt it as that I am the God, Goddess of love. I see that as Lady Nada. This is at the time when I've just found out through this, and just a little bit after, I found Lady Nada and Mary Magdalene were the same person. I understand that now to be so. Yeah. But I didn't know. In all the Aurosoma classes that I took, I went to level 3 Aurosoma. Nobody mentioned that Lady Nada. We've got the bottle Lady Nada. We've got the quintessence, and we didn't even know that Mary Magdalene. So
I guess I was lucky then. I was lucky then.
You were. I did win. nearly told me. I had two teachers. And then also a couple of years ago, I did a channeling, and I brought through the Divine Mothers. And funny enough, I had a message from everybody. But Mary Magdalene was really quiet. But who steps in? But Lady Nada with a message. See, again, I didn't know.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. You've got Lady Nada giving you the message. Yes, of course you would have, wouldn't you?
I still have. So from that first workshop I did with Edwin all those years ago, he told us to take a ribbon, and then it was impregnated with the energy of the Ascended Master that we were working with, and mine was Lady Nada. And I still have that ribbon, and when I pick it up, I can still feel the vibration of energy. And I don't work with her anymore, but I found that Mary Magdalene was her, but like a closer to us level, you know.
Oh.
And then I just worked with her as Mary Magdalene, and you know, I'm really a Mary Magdalene girl. I've dreamt about her a lot, and you know, that is my natural. I say this quite often. That is my natural inclination, that divine feminine energy. Whereas Sarah, I find more challenging. I find she's the masculine and the feminine in oneness. You know, which takes me to all sorts of places outside of my comfort zone, which is very good for me.
Yes. So you say you've got the aspect of Master Jesus and you've got the aspect of Mary Magdalene all rolled into Sarah.
Yeah. And it's in oneness. So it creates a third energy yet again, you know. So yeah.
Wow. So tell me about her violet flame.
Oh, her violet flame's lovely. So I mean, Sarah is our future. She is sort of like the prototype of where we are going towards with our evolutionary process. That's why it's, you know, I find it so challenging, because we haven't become that yet. It's what we are all, you know, all these downloads and transmissions and everything we're all getting. It's what we are going towards. And it was part of, you know, Mary Magdalene's and Yeshua's work. They were grounding that. They were grounding that here for, like, you know, thousands of years in the future. But yeah, Sarah's violet flame, it's specifically for this evolutionary process that we're going through at the moment, shifting from, we've never brought down this amount of light into this density of matter before. We've had this amount of light, but with much less density of matter. So we are performing a huge work of alchemy, and it's a bit like going around the circle. You know, if you think about the Lemurians, they were very lightly in matter, but they had this amazing energy. And then you go round that circle, go down a bit to sort of like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you get to Atlantis, and then it's getting heavier and heavier, and it's 6 o'clock, it's getting really, we've just lost it. We're in matter. We've lost a lot of our connection to spirit. And now we're going back up again, and we're sort of at, I would say, you know, I don't know, 8:45 in the morning. And now we're having to bring that light back into the density.
Yeah.
Because then we will get lighter. We will get lighter in matter as we get up sort of towards the top of the clock. And I don't know, maybe the whole process starts again. Who knows? I have no idea what happens after that. But Sarah's violet flame is specifically for this process that we're in now, of shifting the matter, bringing more light in. I mean, I could say, you know, it's 5D or whatever, but I really struggle with a lot of these terms because they're mental constructs that mean something different to everybody. They're not really real things, which is why it's hard for me to really remember, because I can't quite tune into the energy of them. But it's, you know, shifting from one thing to the other as we're doing now. That's what Sarah's violet flame is for. So it's fantastic for like earth energies, places that have got a lot of heaviness, and they're kind of crying out to you, help me. People's energy bodies who, you know, because not everybody, we're all coming to this point in our own divine timing. People's energy bodies who's at that point of shift and change where they're sort of going from one thing to the next. And the star children, I mean, she's really it's a lovely woman called Anna Estrada, that works with Sarah, and she calls her the cosmic star child. And I love that. I love that. I love that description. She's very much here for the star seeds, as well as for like all the gender neutral and gender binary and all of those people as well, because, you know, she probably would be somebody like that, because she holds the masculine and the feminine together.
Oh, I see. Yes, I've watched you speak about that, and I see that now. What you mean?
Yeah, because
yes.
it can also be very androgynous, that energy in her, you know.
Yes.
So it sort of covers the whole thing. And also, you know, these people are like transgender. I mean, my dad, he was a cross-dresser, and he hid it all his life. And I never got to talk to him about it, which I'm a bit cross about now, because he died in 2008. And they've been exiled from our society in a lot of ways. And Sarah was hidden, and she's also kind of exiled because she's not socially acceptable. You know, over the years, people have told me she's a demon. They've written to me. They felt the need to write to me and tell me she's a demon, I'm a demon, you know, and a lot of really awful stuff. You know, we've been taught, they would tell me that there's going to be a second coming of Christ's children, and it's demons in disguise, you know, and there's just all this, you know, she's just not very socially acceptable. So all of these people who are also at the edges of society kind of, and I also feel that way as well with my spirituality and all the rest of it. I love Sarah, you know, because she's also on the edge, you know.
Yes.
Where all the best people are. No. I'm not, I don't really want to make myself better than anybody else, or vice versa. You know, we're all needed. Whatever we're doing and however it looks to everybody else, we're all needed in that circle, every single one of us.
Her energy comes across as a younger person, do you not think?
She does, yeah, she does. She's like, I mean, she's a daughter archetype. And, you know, it's sort of that energy. She's not there with kids hanging around her, you know, not that. I mean, I'm not saying she wasn't, but that energy is more, it's not quite the maiden. It's a little bit more than that. She's a young woman that's in her power. And she's really doing her thing. I mean, one vision I had of her like years ago was after I'd been to Renda Chateau again. I really felt her energy in the bones of that land, in the mountains, in the stone.
Yeah. And
I actually saw her as quite tall and athletic, quite broad shoulders, which was really bizarre. Because, you know, if I think about her, I would imagine her being small and little, but perhaps it was more, that vision could have been more a metaphor for her energy rather than a physical representation. I don't know, but I saw her actually as quite a sporty person. And I was like, which was a bit strange to me because, you know, I grew up reading books and not playing sports. I was a bit like, fancy, but there was this strength and power in her body. You know what I mean? And she was like leaping around the mountains barefoot like a goat kind of thing. You know? It was like wild and free, completely wild.
Wow. Because, you know, in France, they absolutely adored Mary Magdalene, didn't they? Because my dad used to go to France every summer. And they'd go to all the processions that they had, you know, the church processions that were carrying them. And I remember him sending me photographs once, and I went, that isn't Mother Mary. That's Mary Magdalene. I don't know why I thought it was Mother Mary, but it was I knew it was clearly Mary Magdalene. I mean, they absolutely loved her. And she lived there she lived there from when we got off the boat. She lived there, and of course Sarah was with her. And I mean, that's what I heard. Well, this is what I got, was that they were living in some cave somewhere.
Yeah, that's it. And there's caves and things that I haven't been to, so I still sort of think that's a nice juicy thing for the future. I mean, it's hard for me to travel now with Benji being autistic, because he's not a great traveller. He doesn't like change, he really tends to lose it if there's too much change. But I'm allowed to escape every now and then, and I think as he gets older, it will get easier, and I'll be able to travel more again. So I look forward to that day. But that's it, because I do a lot of earth healing work, but I do a lot where I live in Roskilde, because we've got some really special ascension energies here. And then other things I do in groups on Zoom, and I get other people to join me, and we do it distantly. And it is amazing. It's amazing how, it all happens and works really well and all the rest of it. But so next year I'm teaching, so this is sort of where I've got to with my Sarah journey now, is that I've started teaching all the things she's taught me over the years. Because for years and years I worked with her, and I was thinking, this is just too fantastic. And that's why, so I started a website, I don't know, about 2 years after she'd come into my life, and that was saraye.com. And I had that for years, and I put it out there as like a beacon of light, because there was nothing on the internet about Sarah, and I wanted people to be able to find something. Because I knew it was not just me. I knew there were going to be more people looking for her. So I got that out there. And then I managed to get the book published. I can't remember when that was, maybe 2014. I wrote it a few years before that, but I managed to get it out. And then 2 years ago I started teaching her healing system, which is amazing. And now I'm teaching that to other people so they can teach it, because now they've asked me to teach like a priestess course. And it's called Earth Priestesses of Sarah. And it is working a lot with earth energies. I mean,
wow.
If people are called more to do the collective stuff, there's still that, like the humanity and working with light bodies, because she does a lot of that. But you still need that grounding, because there's practices and techniques in there where you root yourself so deeply into the earth, because there's still so much, shit out there. Excuse my French. There's still so much shit, energetically wise. We've got to really, really put ourselves in a powerful place before we can do the more powerful work. Otherwise our energy bodies will really, really suffer. And so she's teaching that she's teaching that to people. So
wow,
that's
so good. And I've been working with my dragons this year, and I listened to the podcast with your guy. I followed David Bauer. Oh yes, Kieran. And I followed David Bauer in Hawaii, of all places, and I did a Lemurian healing course with him last year. So I took myself off on Zoom for 2 weeks to learn Lemurian healing. So I went to Hawaii via Zoom and learned that. And then I do his monthly meditations, and he was saying the other day, a couple of months ago, it was about the dragons. And I've never connected with dragons, but that's okay. I don't mind doing a meditation. Anyway, the meditation, I felt that dragon plug right into my heart. And I shared afterwards, and he said, well, Claire, he said, when I was writing the meditation, my guide said that the reaction that they wanted was to feel that plug going in the heart. And I said, well, I felt it. And so he said, I think you'll find there's 2 dragons around you wanting to connect with you. So I went on, my sister, funny enough, again, sent me something actually on my birthday in March. And I hadn't seen it, but it was on Instagram, and I finally found it. And it was Diana Cooper, is that her name? And she does the unicorns and I've never heard of her either. Yeah. The unicorns and the dragons. So I went on her website. I did her little dragon course. And I learned how to connect with my dragons. And so when I do my Tell Us Australia on a Friday morning, we do an ascension ceremony, and we do planetary healing. And sometimes I'm called, and I've got my globe.
Oh, yeah.
So I get called with my dragons sometimes, and I did this on Friday, is to go off and do whatever I need to be and do the keys with the dragons. So my dragons are called Love and Nancy. Love is very stocky and trendy and funky kind of guy. He's always standing on my right. And Nancy's very tall and regal and very thin and very, very different. And so one's fire, Nancy's fire, and love, he's water. And I send them off on missions and we go off and do stuff. Yes, I mean, look, I'm 60 this year, 60, and I've only just met my dragons. So that, you know.
That's fantastic, isn't it? It's fantastic. And there's so much more to look forward to, isn't it?
It's always unfolding.
Yeah.
There's always something else to learn. I mean, I'm sure you're the same. I'm just, every day is a spiritual day. There is nothing, you know, it's not something, it's not a hobby. I do want to, it's every single day. I do my prayers when I get up in the morning. I get my 7 Sacred Flames prayer book. I do my prayers. I work with the Lemurians. You know, it's just a way of life, isn't it?
It is, yeah, exactly. And I think we're quite a large collective now as well. People like us that are living like this. We're not so isolated anymore. I mean, even if, like, you know, people are sort of out in the countryside and they don't have anybody physically around them, we can all find each other on the internet at least. You know, and I think everyone can travel somewhere to go to workshops and things if they really want to do that, you know, physically. And I love that. And yeah, I mean, I can't believe I turned into this sort of person, to be honest.
Well, it's 17 years since Archangel Gabriel stood in my bedroom and said I'd be doing it, and I'm like, oh no, but here I am, and I've been doing this 9 years this year, full time.
Wow.
So, you know, like, it's just.
Yeah. So do you get people coming to you, like, locally from where you live?
Yes, I get people. Yeah. So I work the 7 days. I can't say I've got full for 7 days, but I normally take at least one client a day. And I've started doing psychic parties. The reason why I never offered them before is because I'm a healer of souls, a soul healer, I've been called in a channeling once. And so I touch people very deeply. Yeah. Now, do you really want me to come round to your house on a hen's night and have you in tears? I don't think so. So I don't tend to. I try not. Well, I wasn't offering them because I didn't want to.
I understand. And also, it's a sacred thing, isn't it? So you don't want people not respecting and honouring it as well.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So, but anyway, just recently people have been asking, could you do a psychic party? They get a few girls together, you know, can we have a psychic party? And I do, and they just put me in a side room because, you know. But look, I did one last week, and the first guy sat down, the only guy, but he's the first person, sits down, and he's got to be in his late 50s. And I said something that touched his heart, and you could see him trying to not cry. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to start taking tissues with me.
Yes, you definitely need to have.
I thought that on Friday.
Yeah.
The lady said, I'm going out of town, and I'm going to do one. And the lady said, can we have an hour, or can we do it? Look, I said, just have the half an hour. Make it nice and light. It's a 60th birthday. We don't want anybody in tears. Well, why have an hour? Why go really deep and peel the onion? And no, don't do that. If they want to have that, come to the house. I've got a beautiful healing room next door, you know, in the master bedroom. It's beautiful, and have that, and come here. But yeah, look, I see children. I'm seeing a lot more children. Yeah, and we got unfortunately, a lot of suicidal children. So a lot of children as young as 8. Sad, isn't it? So I've been working with a few children, bullying and stuff. So I've got a child later on today. So they're really open and receptive to healing.
So the parents that are bringing these kids to you, are they spiritual parents, or they just looked around and just thought you were the right
spiritual
person?
Parents.
Yeah, all right.
Spiritual parents, and and open to healing.
Yeah.
And look, I'd say. It's not me that heals them. It's
Spirit.
They also got to believe it too. And then it's just the energy. But I had a lady, she came today, and I saw her back in March. I've seen her on and off for years now, but she came in March, and she's had migraines for 46 years. And after that healing, she never had migraines. I saw her today, and I goes, "Oh, she had migraines." She said, "Completely gone." So she must have been ready to release that.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
That's the thing.
I love it. And I love that there's so many people around you that are open to this as well. That's absolutely fantastic. What part of Australia do you live in?
Perth.
Oh, you're in Perth.
On the west coast.
Oh, right. See, I still watch, even to this day, the British have got a fascination for moving to Australia and New Zealand. We still have programs about people moving out and emigrating, right. And I still watch them. I've been watching them for years, and I still watch them. So I know a bit, I've seen Perth. The house prices are very expensive in Perth. I know that.
Yes, well, they weren't, but they are. Yeah, they have been for quite a few years. But then we've had that slump thing, or the recession, or whatever they called it. I don't follow anything. My husband tells me these things. So prices have dropped at the moment. We wouldn't. I think we'd be looking to get the price that we paid for our house back in 2011.
Yeah. Okay.
So but. We live in a beautiful part of the world, and we're totally blessed, and we haven't been touched. We haven't really been touched by COVID at all.
Really?
Lockdown. Yeah, wow. I think we might have had two maybe lockdowns, like 2 weeks.
Oh,
because there was because we have a lot of people coming back from overseas, or on those. Because we've got Fremantle, so a lot of the liners would come in, and then all the people would get off, and then they all had to go into quarantine. And one of the security guards somehow managed to get COVID, and he had to also be an Uber driver.
Yeah, okay.
And so he'd been to look. If you asked me where I'd been this week, I'd say I've been to Aldi shopping. I'd go swimming, of course, and. That would be it. This bloke, he went everywhere. He'd been to 4 petrol stations. He'd been all over. He'd been to a Mazda dealership. He'd been to the hospital. He'd been to about 20,000 places, And then, of course, they found out he's been tested positive for COVID. So what happens? The whole of WA is put down in lockdown for a week.
I mean, I think in the end, though, it's inevitable, really, that it will come. We've just got it here now in Denmark. So we locked down a lot very tightly, much earlier than the UK when it all started. And there was not actually that many people who'd had COVID at all in Denmark until recently. And because now I think the governments have come to the point where they realise they can't keep everything locked down all of the time, especially for us in Europe, because, all the borders and everything, we're all bordering onto each other's countries. And now there is a lot of COVID in Denmark. And Sweden, who's had loads the last year and the year before, they're completely flattened out. They don't have much. Whereas us, I think we're getting to be one of the top countries now in Europe. And it's because we've had there's been hardly any of it. And in the end, it has to go through the population. It just, it's like you could never contain a cold forever. They're the same sort of
anymore. So, everybody just needs to get a bit of COVID, don't they, and get over it and get herd immunity.
Yeah.
But I don't think we can go anywhere. We can't travel.
No, exactly. Australia can't stay locked down forever in that way, separated from the rest of the world. But I mean, it has gone up, and they are starting to take a few measures, like you've got to have a corona pass if you go out to a cafe. But the hospitals, 75% of the population here are vaccinated, so people are getting COVID, but they're not as sick. And there is the odd person, who gets it, and then just my one of our friends, his physio, she's got it, 40s, really fit. She died within 4 days. I mean, it's you don't know where it's going to sort of hit people, really, or not. But I think in the end, it has to go it has to go through the population.
Yes,
you know.
It does. I agree with you. I think in here in WA, I think we've had 5 people die, but don't take my word for it because I don't follow any news or anything. But I have a feeling that's what my husband said to me. And they were only people from coming in from ships, you know, like being on holiday and being on a ocean liner, and that's all I know of. That's what I heard. So, but I say I don't follow news, no nothing. I don't follow anything.
Yeah.
I just do my own thing, and I'm getting to know WA. We keep going away on different tours, like Margaret River Winery region, and you know, we've been up to Monkey Mire, which is where you can swim with the dolphins, and because they come into shore, so that's really, really beautiful. And we had this suite that was right on the beach, and you just sit in bed and watch the dolphins go past. That was really beautiful. I have to say, when we booked again for next February, because that were beautiful. It really, really was. I'm like you. I love dolphins.
Yeah, always have since I was a kid. I was crazy about them when I was a kid. I used to draw dolphins everywhere, and I was in a dolphin club, the International Dolphin Watch. Horace Dobbs ran that, and oh god, it's never. Wow. And I've since. Before maybe 2012, 2011, I dream about them a lot. And killer whales. I have a particular thing about orcas. Yeah, they're constantly mirrors. But do you work online? Do you do like online sessions, Claire?
So I'm not very. So I've got a lady tomorrow. We do it on Messenger, but I'm not like you. I don't do. I mean, I don't know how to do a Zoom. I don't know how to do a lot of things, but look, we just link up on Messenger, and I'm going to do that with a lady over east, because it's 3 hours difference between Perth and Sydney.
Yeah.
3 hours is big. Like if you're trying to run a business, 3 hours, not that I need to ring, but you know, if you go to ring anybody, I can't really ring over east, but you know, a business, you have to make sure that you've rung them by about 1:30, 2 o'clock.
You're quite, because you're on the other side of the world, you know, to like the UK, and I mean, like America, depending on where they are, they have like a 6 hour, 8 hour, 9 hour time difference from me, and that means that if people want to have sessions with me, they have to get up early.
Yes.
But they do, and it works. And the same with my teaching classes. I teach the healing like from 3 till 6 in the afternoon, because that means that you know, it gives them time to sort of get up in the morning. But I do have a lady in Australia who's been doing the last class, and she watches it on the recording, because it's you know, just like it's.
Well, that's it. It's like when I go to Hawaii and do the meditations monthly. Well, it was 5 a.m. for me, and then but now it's 6 a.m. So that's okay. I don't mind getting up that early. But some things, middle of the night, I don't do. But actually, I did a competition just recently, and one of the girls that won the hour reading, she's from the UK. So that'll be my first time I've done anything in the UK. But
but I mean, we're talking to each other now, you know, so you can do it. You can do it. You've just got to find the little slot.
Tweaking the time. Yeah, and then I've done South Africa, because a lot of South Africans in Perth. So I know so I've done a reading for a lady in South Africa. So absolutely everything's doable, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's such a blessing to have technology, is it not?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do the work that I do without it. I can actually remember, like, so years ago, sitting in my house in South Nutfield in Surrey in the UK, and like I'd laid out like a crystal grid, and I was bringing Sarah in, and I used to send out like a blessing service. And I can remember thinking, if only I had a camera and I could talk to all these people. I was longing for it, and I felt so cut off, you know, and now I can do it. And it's lovely. It's just such a
good. Now I've noticed you've got your Instagram, your website, and you've got the technology, whereas don't do technology. It's just not my thing.
Yeah,
just not my thing.
I mean, I've managed. I'm not a proper techie, but I sort of manage enough to get things to get things
Well, that's
done,
good.
you know.
That's really, really good. So where are you heading next? What's your next project? Is it on the online teaching?
Well, at the moment, I'm trying to finish my second book.
Yes.
Which is like 98% of the way there. But just as I sort out one little thing, another one pops up. So, but I'm trying to get that ready so I can launch that in February. I'm also getting because I've written 2 guides to the Sacred Springs here in Roskilde. I've got one of them translated into Danish, and I'm trying to get them both on Kindle and Amazon now. So I've asked someone else to do that. I formatted it all myself with that Sarah book and self-published on Amazon.
Wow.
But I'm so busy now. I'm like trying to outsource to people a bit more. And then I'm training up Louise. Louise is my right-hand woman, or left-hand woman, perhaps I should say, because it's feminine, isn't it? The left hand. I'm teaching her how to teach the Sarah thing. So we work that out, which means next year I'll have like a proper manual and everything, so that, you know, I can teach the other Sarah healers. And I've got this new priestess course coming out in January. So, yeah.
Oh, you are busy.
Yeah.
You are busy. How gorgeous is that?
I said to them, when they said, because the priestess, I went for my New Year's walk last January to see about inspiration for the year, and it came through, and it had come through before, and I was like, I haven't got time. I still got to finish, you know, because it takes a long time to create a course and do all the manuals and everything. And also, I'm a carer for Benji at the weekends and during the week. You know what I mean? That's another part-time job. I don't have, you know, a lot of spare time having a special needs kid. But it was just like, but it's needed now. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just get it out there. And I was like, all right, okay. I could feel it was right. And I do think it's like people need it. So it's like, okay. And I need to get it out there. Otherwise the energies just get stuck in me and send me crazy anyway. So
well, yeah, that's true. You just have to have that expression, don't you? You just have to let it out.
Yeah.
Let it out.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. Well, you sound like you've got a lot of things planned for next year anyway, but I haven't thought about my vision board yet for next year, but I think I'm going to have to start thinking about it, because Lemurian that I am, my new year started on the 11th of the 11th, so my new year's already cracked up. I remember years ago now, I got told, you know, you need to put your prices up, right? So, because I've never been very good at pricing myself. Anyway, I think I've got it right now, but it's taken 9 years, hasn't it, full time? And so it's years ago, and they said, you've got to put your prices up. And I went, okay, I'll do that in January. And my guys go, no, 1st of December. I goes, who puts their prices up on the 1st of December? And they went, you do. So now I realise, because it's already my new year. You don't need to wait till January the 1st. New year has already happened for you to get on with it.
Oh, dear.
So yeah, that's why I was thinking about doing my vision board sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, like, because the Celtic year ends at Samhain in you know, Halloween at the end of October, and you know, and I can always feel those new energies coming in, and then I get another new year to sort of work out the year ahead in January. So I sort of get two New Years. Yes,
I can see that. Yes, so I'm going to get some thought about what I'm going to do next year. Yeah. But obviously it's all going to be done here in Perth. There's no moving around. There's no doing courses anywhere else apart from maybe going to somewhere with Zoom. I've done a few courses on Zoom now. I did a basic belief clearing course with Danny DeVito.
That would be good. It's Danny DeVito.
You know Danny DeVito. No, he looks like, didn't he? Joe Vitale. That's who I've always getting two mixed up. Yeah. Joe Vitale and Danny DeVito look the same, but it's Joe Vitale. So I did that. So I've done a few courses this year, and then of course I did the dragon course. So I don't know what's next year's going to hold, but my focus is also on the violet flame, but I work with Saint Germain.
Yeah.
And the violet flame. So I'm working with that and trying to bring everybody into one unity consciousness. See,
Lovely.
so we're all keeping everybody realizing that they're just one.
Yeah.
So you and I are the same. We're all the same. We're all one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
keeping that vibration high, so everybody doesn't dip into fear.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of, let's say, marches going on in Perth, well, a lot in Australia. You know, because it's mandatory, the vaccination here.
Is it?
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
For everyone.
So a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
So
and what happens if you don't? What happens if you don't take it?
So far, well, we're all right at the moment because my husband and I we're both self-employed, but not in. So if he was like working on a mine or he'd have, or a teacher, and they're all having to have it. But of course, there's lots of people who don't want to. And we had a march on Saturday. I didn't go. I had to work. I had clients all day. But there was over 50,000. It's loads of people giving up their jobs. Loads of people. In Adelaide, there aren't enough nurses and doctors. If you have to wait 90 minutes for an ambulance. So if you've had a heart attack, you've got no chance, have you? So it's a little bit sad. So there's 3,000 Adelaide nurses walked out of their jobs because they wouldn't have the jab. Because, as she said, as she's being interviewed, you see the ambulance noises. She said, "This is Adelaide. We don't have ambulances going past all the time. But what you're hearing is people having adverse effects to the vaccine, the jab, and this is why we're so busy." And she said, I can't watch that happen anymore. So she said, I'm gonna walk away from my job. And she said, I've got 2 degrees, this, that, and the other, and I can't watch it any longer. So we've got all that happening. So marches in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, thousands. There was over 50,000 in Melbourne at the weekend. So we're trying to. So it's not so much. There's nobody like anti-vaxxers. It's freedom of choice. That's all we want. Freedom of choice. I've got so many clients that come to me that have left their jobs.
Wow. I think it's really tricky, isn't it? I mean, they're bringing it in for government employees now, making it mandatory. I don't think they'll be able to do it for the whole population. I don't think people would stand for it really, but it's really difficult. It is,
It's just choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. If somebody wants a vaccine, have it, pet. Go and have it. Yeah. I don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, because I've got an autoimmune disease and I don't want to. I don't want it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just choice, isn't it?
Do you think you could do like a 5-minute Saint Germain Violet Flame meditation with us then to help us come into unity? Do you like to do that?
I would. Hang on, I'm going to give this a little bit of thought. I think I've got something. I don't know what, but I feel like I've got something I need to share with you. And I just got told it's purple writing. Can I do this? I don't know how it's going to come out because I've just dug it out of my prayer book, channeled at 11:07. Just thought I'd throw that one in. On the 12th of the 9th, but this is what I got told to share, so I'm going to do that. So if you can just, settle yourself in and take a few deep breaths. Nice and slow. In the name of the I am that I am prayer. In the name of the I am that I am, I call upon God to be here with me now, as above, so below. As God resides in my higher heart, my soul is in full remembering of my divine connection to Source, the source of light and eternal love. I call upon God to take from me all discordant energy that is directed at me as I stand in the light, a warrior of the light, for we are all that light, for all that light stands for. For I'm a beacon of that light, for I have been called to the light to serve once more for the greater good of all. I stand here before you, an equal in all things, and I ask that you join with me and band together as one force against the darkness and bring this planet into the light and the golden age which is upon us. Let us unite as one consciousness as we strive for the betterment of our planet, to pledge our commitment to shine and become one family of the light, for we are all light. We are all light, all for one and one for all. It is time, light workers of the world, to join force and pledge to shine and become one beacon of light and raise the vibration of the planet and heal with love our beloved Mother Earth and all her inhabitants. May peace prevail on earth. We bring you this message of peace at this time to ease you, to bring peace of mind. Blessings from the Ascended Masters.
Amen.
Amen.
That was lovely, Claire. That was really lovely. Have you got it on a blog? Have you got it on a blog or something?
No, it's on a piece of paper, love.
Have you got a blog?
No. I don't know how to do a blog. Years ago, they said to me, do a blog. And I went, what's one of them then? Right,
I was imagining that I'd seen a blog somehow with you on your website. I don't know. I maybe just imagined that.
So there is, on Facebook, somebody's got a spiritual pampering blog, but that's not mine. And I noticed I've got about 7 of my followers following that blog, and it's not mine. So what happened last year? I got tons of channelings, like, whoa, right, we're off. And I had loads. And I remember one, I was sitting there and I went, who the hell are they? Who's the Galactic Federation of Light? I hadn't heard of them. I had to Google them, and then Jesus' picture was there. I thought, well, that's all good. They must be all right, them people. So I've had loads of channelings. And so I've got a whole folder like that, full of my channelings from last year. But some of them I tuck in the back of my prayer book, and that was one of them.
I really
shall I share this one? Well, there's a sheet, you mean one. But I'll share this one just in case anybody's, because this is actually, it's all scrolled on. This is a powerful prayer I channeled for anybody who was sick. Talking about COVID and people might be coming down with something or just generally unwell or, general life stuff happening. I channeled this for a client. She contacted me and she wanted a prayer channeling for her dad, who was absolutely riddled with cancer and was about to pass, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I channeled it. 2:36 p.m. I'm off there, aren't I? Last 14th of the 9th last year, channeled it. And he went for his final checkup. And the doctor didn't know how to describe this, but he said, we can't find the cancer in your kidneys and your stomach, and that we can't find the cancer.
Wow.
So I do believe in the power of prayer.
Yeah.
So I just thought, if we bring this in for everybody, we'll just call it General the Stick.
Yeah.
Because I know that the power of prayer brings many miracles. I call upon Ascended Master Jesus, Master Hilarion, Mother Mary, Archangel Raphael, and all angels of the emerald green healing ray to assist the sick this day, casting a healing miracle upon their soul, that they may be blessed with the miracle of healing rays pouring forth from the hands of God. I ask this to be done for their highest good, according to God's holy will, and so be it, and so it is.
Oh, yes.
And I use it a lot with my clients.
I mean, you might find that, do you send a newsletter out?
No.
You're terrible, aren't you? Like I said,
I do nothing.
You might find that if, like, you write out on your page that someone, because people, I get people to type things up for me because I don't have the time. Also, if it's a little bit of a faff, but so if I upload this video to YouTube, it means that, and I've got captions set on it, it means it will transcribe it for me. So it means like those 2 last prayers you did, I can find it, cut and paste it. They put a lot of arrows in it. I have to take all the arrows out, but then I can make a post and I can share it to you. So you don't have to sit and type it out, but you might find that there's people who want to type that up for you because they love it and because they want to have it.
Well, I have put it on my page. I usually put it on a Wednesday because that's the Emerald Green Healing Ray is associated with Wednesday. Yeah. So I normally, I think I put it up a couple of weeks ago, and I have put it up in the past, and I do share it. But as I say, I've got a whole folder of all these channelings that you write. Yeah. I somehow, well, I say Facebook would be my way to go.
The problem is with Facebook is things just disappear on there. You know, it's here today,
they do.
Tomorrow. Whereas if someone puts it on a blog for you, it's all there. You know,
I'll have to look at that then.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at. I'll have to look for a blog.
Google have that. Google have it. If you don't want to do one on your website, that's a bit too complicated. Google.
I don't have a website.
Oh, don't you? Blogger.com. Blogger.com.
Blogger.com.
I think so. Blogger. Just put Google blog in and it will come up. Because I've got a blog on my website. I've also got a blog on Google that I used to use years ago. And it's really easy.
Okay, I'll have a look. No, all I do is Facebook Live, which I've been doing since 2017, where I just do free card readings before I have my first client of the day. So I was on there this morning, going live. And I've just started doing, I've been doing Instagram, not that I really know what I'm doing. And that's just the posts on Facebook. That's really all I'm doing. Yeah. That's really all I'm doing. But you're right about when you're doing something like a post, it disappears. Whereas on your personal Facebook, you get like, this happened 7 years ago or something, and you get to see things. And I was thinking, that'd be nice if we had that on, because that'd be lovely to share the prayers and things.
Exactly. They're too good. They're too good, Claire, to just have them there and then no one sees it again. It's like, I know people sit and look, they can find it, but people don't, but on a blog, people will sit and read all the way through, and you can see the titles. But see if you can get someone else to do it for you, because it sounds like you've got enough. There might be someone out there who loves typing and would love to type those up.
Oh, okay, I'll find it. I'll ask. You know what? I'll ask me I am presence to bring that person to me. That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
Because I have a whole folder. I mean, I've got a folder like that. That's you alone. Every 5 minutes, was, oh my lordy, another one coming through. And and it was all about unity consciousness. I do like this prayer, and I'll read it from over here. It's clipped to my basket. And it's about, do you know Paul the Venetian? Yeah. He's it's to do with the heart chakra. So associated with Tuesday today. The ray of the cosmic pink ray of divine love. So I call upon the presence of God. It's inspired by the words of Paul the Venetian. I call upon the presence of God to fill me with the fullness of my divinity. I am grateful for the blessings of love, peace, and harmony pouring forth. I call upon the presence of God every hour of every day, filling me with love, peace, and harmony, sustaining me in grace and ease in thy holy name.
Amen. Lovely.
Do you know, I was going to say amen to that. Yes. I just found that real softness. He's just, Paul the Venetian has got a very, 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 very soft energy. Yeah. And I feel that through those words.
Yeah. And I tell you what, so if you have all this typed up, then on fiverr.com with a 2 R's at the end, you can get people who will format these things for you to go on Kindle and Amazon, because it costs nothing to self-publish your books on Amazon. they charge you a little bit each time you sell a book or you sell a copy, but actually compared to like publishers, they don't take that much. You still get the majority of it. I think it's 60%, or I can't remember, but it's, you know, it's although I don't love Amazon, I don't love their ethics, there isn't anybody else who does it, and it's a way for me to self-publish without, you know, having to commit huge amounts of money, and it means people can get it and read what I'm doing. So, you know,
I'll have a look then.
Yeah.
And when you say Fiverr, is that with an F?
Yeah, fiverr.com. And you want to look for book design, formatting, that sort of thing. I've got someone looking at something of mine. If she's good, I'll recommend her to you. She's in Trinidad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because years ago, because when people get channel messages like come through for them, I'd go, that's nice, and I'd write it down, and I'd just slip it at the back of a piece of paper at the back of my clipboard, and then before long I had all these pages, and I got told, go and put them on the computer. So I'd do one and then another one, and then I finished them, and I got right, so go and make a book. I'm not doing a book. And I'm going, so I'm like, where am I going to find a publisher?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it is such a huge job to like present a project to a publisher, and it's to pitch a book to a publisher. It's just so much work. It's untrue. And that's, you know, even before you found a publisher that you can pitch it to. So it's so much work. And if you're not trying to sort of take over the world, it's a lot easier just to self-publish, to be honest, I think.
Well, there's been a stumbling block, and I'll tell you what that was. So I got told to ask this. So we're classed as a fishing village, so we're not big, because this used to be a holiday resort where I live. It's expanded, but it was a holiday resort, and I got told to ask this lady. So okay, I knew who the lady was, so I don't know her, but I knew of her. So I was walking on the beach one day and I saw her. So I said to her, can you recommend a publisher? And she said, have you thought of whatever his name was? And I went, no. So I rang whatever his name was. And he said, yes, I can publish your book. He's just moved. He's walking distance from my house. The lady that did the artwork was 10 minutes drive away. So my little book, but there's only been one slight problem. I don't know how to get it into the shops.
No, exactly.
So I sell it from home.
Yeah.
So I've got one of them ISBN numbers and all of that.
Yeah.
But I've no idea how to get it into anything. So it cost me 11,000.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm selling them like 2 a year.
Yeah. You can list them on Amazon as well and sell through them. But yeah, it used to be really easy to be a seller on Amazon. When they first did it, I used to do it, and then it got very complicated to be a marketplace seller. So I don't know.
Well,
now
maybe I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, have a look.
Because we do have an Amazon in Perth.
Yeah,
it's only just opened. So. Because I hadn't really heard about Amazon because it's not here in Australia. So, I mean, there is an Amazon.au. People can buy stuff. Yes, there is. So it's only like Amazon's only opened up in the last maybe couple of years.
We don't have an Amazon in Denmark. We don't have an Amazon.uk. No, we have to use well, I used to use the UK, but now we have to use Germany. Because for some reason the Swedish one won't send anything to us here. So it's like I use the German one. But luckily there's an Amazon.de English. Otherwise I'd be really stuffed because I don't know any German. So yeah.
No, me neither. I don't speak any languages either.
Well, I do speak Danish, technically.
So when they speak to you, you know what they're saying, but you've just got a reluctance to reply.
Yeah. I tend to speak in English to people unless they don't speak any English, and then I will speak Danish. But it's a very hard language to pronounce. Very hard to make the sounds, and they're not used to people speaking it with an accent, because usually the only people that can speak Danish are Danish people. So they're not very good. Like, we can understand English in a lot of accents, they can't. So you've got to be really, really close to saying it like a Danish person for people to understand what you're saying. And so it is, it is a bit painful, to be honest. Yes.
I wouldn't bother either.
Yeah,
Does that mean
if I have to be understood in Danish, I speak it.
Does that mean you do your shopping online or
No. I can manage in shops and stuff like that. But I mean, like, I couldn't go. I mean, I can talk to people in Danish about general everyday stuff, but I couldn't go and have a job. I couldn't have a job. I mean, I try to get on all sorts of educational programs and things here, because I had to go to language school for 2.5 years. There's a test you have to study, an exam you have to pass. It's extremely difficult just to get residency here. And so I actually studied it for years just to pass that flipping thing. And but then I couldn't get on any other programs. And you need, to get fluent, you need to either be studying in it or working in it. I can't get a job here because I'm a qualified nurse, but my qualification's not recommended. I've tried to get jobs as like a healthcare assistant. No one will take me because I'm way overqualified. I was a nurse manager, so they don't want me. I can't get on educational programs because I'm too educated already, which means I'm not allowed to study at the same level, even though. So I tried everything. I tried everything, and in the end, I went, do you know what? I think Spirit's already got a job.
I'm just going to tell you that, love. You're already on God's payroll. You don't need a job.
But it was really about money, because we're one of the most expensive countries in the world. So I would have liked something part-time, because if I got paid in Danish money, I would be getting much more. I have to work in English and American rates, and it's very small compared to what I would be getting. So I work a lot and get paid very little for what I have to pay out in Denmark, basically. So yeah. So, but I mean, luckily me and Thomas, we're not the sort of people who wants a BMW or, we're not great consumers. So, we're all right. We're not starving or anything. We're paying the bills. But yeah, it is a bit of a bummer. Yeah.
Yes. That doesn't seem fair, does it?
No. But
you do something in Danish.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I do actually want to do the work that I do. I don't want to have to do a Danish job just to get the money. I would be bitter and pissed off if I had to do that anyway. So.
Absolutely, I agree. You're already working, but I always say that you're on God's payroll. You'll be looked after.
Yeah, that's it.
And let's face it, we don't do it for the money.
No, exactly.
We don't do it for the money.
No, I'm always doing what Spirit asking me to, and I'm always loving it as well. It's always so interesting, and that's it. I'm a lifelong learner. If they're going to teach me something new, I'm up for it. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, do you know we've been talking for nearly 2 hours now?
Oh my lordy, 5:02. You're right.
I was saying to a friend the other day that Irish women really, really know how to talk. We've just been proving that point today, haven't we?
Oh, we have. Life's been lovely. I've really enjoyed it.
I knew I'd like talking to you.
What season are you in?
Winter, nearly.
Are you coming up for winter?
Yeah, we're just at the end of autumn now. A lot of the leaves have gone. We had our first proper frost yesterday, so I went winter bathing yesterday, and because they have a bridge, they're about to take it down that you go into the sea with, and it was all covered in frost, and I'd forgotten my shoes, my bathing shoes, and I had to walk on all this like ice all the way along. I was like, ooh.
Oh wow. Yeah, we've had a really rough winter. Well, I'm not you're done. But for Perth, we've had a really, really cold winter. In fact, we had our wettest October on record. So, you know, and it started early. Normally it doesn't start till about June, but it started right at the beginning of May. So it came in really early, and it's just gone on and on and on. Oh. And well, we've had a couple of holidays where we should have been out in that, like short sleeves and that, and we've been rugged up.
Yeah.
And lots of rain. But just last weekend it turned, and we had it went to 30, 31.
Wow. Okay.
So we're free, top of 19, and now at top of 31. And then was it Monday or Tuesday? Monday, yesterday. Back raining, cloudy.
Oh.
And then today, I think it was 17 now, but it's 5 o'clock at night. But it was 26 or something about 10:30. And they say it's going to get to 33 for the rest of the week.
Oh wow! Oh well, we're waiting for snow. We should be getting snow this week. So, I mean, Denmark is the most southern Scandinavian country, though. So we're not like Norway and Sweden. I'm not. I like to exaggerate a bit and go, "Oh, Scandinavia," because so people think I'm tough and go, "Wow!" But I mean, it is still Scandinavia, but yeah, we don't spend the whole winter in ice and snow. It's very grey. It's very grey, the winter here. Very, very grey. So the winter bathing really helps because it makes me go out, and there's a high humidity here. Really high humidity. So it means when it's cold, it's damp. It really gets into your bones. And there's days where I don't want to go out. And if I don't go out for a couple of days, that's really bad. I just sort of go down and down and down and down. So I have a blue sky lamp, and I have my winter bathing, and it keeps me going, and it keeps me fresh and stops me turning into some sort of hibernating, depressed creature that won't go out and doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Well, I was thinking tomorrow morning before my client, because I don't swim on a Wednesday because it's my rest day. But I thought if it is going to be nice tomorrow, I might go down the beach and just, have it. So I'll take you a video and I'll send it you.
Oh,
and
lovely.
Then you can look at some nice waves and just enjoy the beach.
Yeah. Oh, and I hope to come and visit Australia one day, and I'll pop in and see you for.
Once we open the borders and let you in, you can come in.
Yeah. Do you still drink tea?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic! I'll kind of have a cup of tea with you. What tea do you drink?
Absolutely, do that.
What tea?
All right, my lovely.
What tea do you drink?
Tea? Oh, you never guess. Yorkshire tea. Imported. Yorkshire tea.
Proper cup of tea.
Yes. We get it imported from the UK. Yorkshire tea. Yes.
Well, have a lovely evening.
Yes, and you have a lovely day. Lovely to catch up to and do it again.
Yeah, all right.
God bless you. Take care.
Bye, Claire.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, darling. Bye-bye.
Au heia valea naue e kaliko puakukui. Hui ao kaunaia a kapu ke momori nei. Hiko I kahimanao I kahapili ko aloha ia. Hea ke kaula lopi ana e kopu kapalili ai. Haina mai kapuana e kahaliko puakukui. Au heia valea naoe e kahaliko puakukui. Kuhi ao akapu kumamoni nei. Pikoi kahimanaho I kahapili koholuaia. Ea ke kaula lo pihana e kohopu kapaliliai. Haina mai kapuana e kahaliko puokukui. Au heia valeano e kahaliko puokukui. Kui au konaia a kahapu ke momoni nei. Ikoi kahimanaho I kahapili kualuaia. Ea ke kaula lo pihana he kohopu kapaliliai. Haina mai kapuana e kahaliko puakukui. He noa no na ka ui